Hey guys, Dwindling Elves here, and welcome to Game 4 of my Chaosludik tournament. This was the last and final game, and at the end of this video I'll also have a wrap-up section where I'll discuss how I did in the tournament, what my thoughts were on my list, and what my thoughts were on the venue in the tournament overall. So this last game was against a Throgg based army, so it was Warriors of Chaos and his allies were Orcs and Goblins. So as for my magic, I've got the Lore Master of Hoeth, and we've got the Book of Hoeth, and I've got the Warrior Priest with his bound spells, and he's got a level 4 of Nurgle, who took the Nurgle lore. Now I'm not sure which spells he had. I'm not really familiar with it. There's one that decreased my toughness. There was the Initiative test or die without an armor save. I think that's a signature spell, and then there were a couple of other direct damage spells. And then he also had a level 1 Goblin Shaman who had Itchy Nuisance, which is the one that makes you reroll 6s. So I didn't take any pictures during deployment. This is the last game. So this is a deployment after he got first turn. So I have my block of 28 Sea Guard on my one flank, then my White Lions in the center with my Lore Master in there, and my BSB with my Phoenix Guard next to them. The 2 bolt throwers on the hill. My eagle is out of shot on my left, and my silver helms are out of shot on my right. So this is a special scenario where your allies come in randomly on turn 2. So they come in on the other board edges, so the short board edges, and you roll a d6, and that would determine where they come on. I believe a 1 was the far left corner, 2 was left center, 3 was left close, and then the opposite on the other side. So these guys will be coming in on turn 2. So as for his army, he's got a chimera with the breath weapon and regen, 5 dogs. Behind him he's got his flying Nurgle Demon Prince. Then he's got 7 trolls with Throgg, and then 7 trolls without anything. And both those units have additional hand weapons. And in the second unit, there's actually a BSB with Mark of Zinj who had the 3-up ward save, but he did not have the 1 rerollable, or reroll 1, so it was just a plain 3-up ward save. And then next to them, he's got 3 Juggernauts with Musician and a banner as well. So he got first turn, and he moved up as like that. In the magic phase, so he did have the spell that made you take a toughness test or d6 strength 5 hits, so he killed 2 guys with that spell, and I passed my toughness test in the first run. So High Elves turn 1, so I get in it quickly, so I have a choice here. His Juggernauts are within easy charge range of my 2 bolt throwers on the hill, so I can either lose them, or I can be risky and send my Phoenix Guard in. And I'm separating my army here, which may have been a mistake, but my logic is I should beat those Juggernauts on combat res. I don't expect to take too many wounds off. And I have a magic phase to buff my Phoenix Guard. I can hold back. I will pursue with the Juggernaut. Pursue the Juggernauts if they break, and that should take me out of line of sight. I think if I roll a 5 or more. So that's the plan. It's a huge risk early on, and I'm separating my lines, but I have no idea how to deal with these guys. The issue here is I don't have the Flaming Banner, and the reason I didn't take the Flaming Banner is because you run into Demon Spirits with the 2-up ward against Flaming. So that's the case here. So either you can try to fight the Demon Prince, or you can fight the Trolls. But if you've got the Flaming Banner, he's just going to send the Demon Prince into that unit, and the Trolls will deal with the rest. So that's why I didn't take it, and it's come up in this game. So in the magic phase, I get Wissen's Wild Form off on the Phoenix Guard, so the strength 5 and toughness 4 will help in both respects, so I should lose less guys and kill more. And then in the shooting phase, my 2 bolt throwers shoot at his BSB. So his BSB was on a regular steed, so he doesn't get a lookout sir. So I just shot him out of the unit and killed him. He failed his 3-up ward save and one-shotted him. So that was very fortunate for me. So now his trolls are kind of stuck. They're more likely to fail their stupidity tests, which may help me further down the line. So in the combat phase, so I break the I do 5 wounds total, so I kill one. We didn't break the we didn't remove the standard yet here, so he's going to be removed as well. So he's down to 1 wound on 1 remaining guy, and my Phoenix Guard are able to overrun past the troll, so they won't be able to see him next turn. So I'm not, going to get countercharged. And on my turn 2, I can just reform and threaten his flanks. So Warrior's turn 2. He keeps his trolls in the center and he doesn't really move up. His chimera moves in behind my white lions because he's going to breath weapon me, and then his demon prince also has a strength 4 breath weapon and he's going to breath weapon me. His juggernauts actually fail to rally and they run off the board, which was nice. And then so his allies come in. So we had 1 wolf chariot come in behind my silver helms there, and they're going to go after those bolt throwers there. So I've got 1 turn to try to shoot him before he gets to me. And then behind that giant building, he also had a 2nd chariot come in, and that one is carrying his level 1 caster. And then he also had a goblin hero on wolf come in as well on that side behind the building. So I'm going to use my silver helms to charge them next turn. And he moves his dogs in front of my sea guard, I guess, to force them to charge or keep them out of the game for the next turn. And on the left side, the rest of his army comes in, so he's 2 units of fast cap, and oh no, I guess his goblin hero on horse. Oh no, sorry, it's 2 units of fast cap, and then a chariot, and then a doom diver in the back. So this is good for my eagle. He's going to get some shooting off at him, but if not, I'm going to get to charge the eagle into the side of one of those. In that chariot, so that's good for me. And that's why I kept my eagle on that side, because I knew he had these units coming in, so I would be able to get a turn 2 charge. Yeah, so this is a picture of the juggernauts failing to rally and running off the board. And then we go to the magic phase, and I have a giant brain fart. I knew he had the breath weapons. He was even putting the breath weapons down in order to position his guys better, so I knew it was coming. And my white lions have a 2-up board save against all his magical attacks, but for whatever reason I dispelled the direct damage spells, but I let the toughness debuff go through. So I get debuffed to toughness 1, which is going to make a huge difference when he shoots at me with strength 4 breath weapons. I mean, it means, it's actually maybe not that bad, it means that he's wounding on 2s instead of 3s, but it could have saved me some guys. This is just a mistake that I shouldn't be doing, but I did. So yeah, after the shooting phase it looks like that. So he takes out half of the unit, and it's my own stupidity. He was probably going to kill a bunch of guys anyway, but I probably could have saved myself, 4 or 5 wounds there if I hadn't let the toughness debuff go through. Yeah, but breath weapons and small base models are rough. So now my white lions are in trouble, and my Phoenix Guard are way too far away, and I've really overextended myself. So High Elves turn 2, I need to get the white lions out of there, which again may have been a mistake, although I guess I could have reformed and let him charge me, but maybe I would go after the trolls. White lions are still pretty killy. I've got a magic phase, and I've got the Phoenix Guard who have turned around on the flanks, so I figured this was the best move that I had. My Sea Guard go into the 5 dogs in front of them, so I think that's an easy kill. And then my eagle makes it into the side of that chariot, which I'm really happy about. He's only going to get a couple of goblins attacks in on me, and he's hitting on 5s, wounding on 5, so I'm not really worried about taking damage there. And then my silver helms charge his level 1 caster on a chariot, and he flees and gets away, and then I redirect into the Wolf Rider character, and I roll well, you can see it there. I roll a 1, a 2, and I rolled another 1 on my charge system, so they didn't really go anywhere. And then my reinforcements come on after charging, and I rolled, and all 3 of my units came on this side. So my cannon came in at the center, so it's surrounded by things that are great at killing cannons, which is a little bit unfortunate, but at least they can't see me this turn. And then my warrior priest comes in, and he's looking straight at the doom diver, so he's going to charge them next turn. At least that's the plan. And then my knights came in behind the doom diver, so they're going to make a run for the center of the board. One thing I forgot to mention This scenario also has one objective at the center of the board, which is worth like 12 out of 25 victory points. And if your allied unit is closer to that objective, you get additional points. So yeah, stupid on my part for not telling you what the scenario was. So in the shooting phase, my first bolt thrower shoots at the chariot and knocks it out, so I don't have to worry about that, which is nice. And then the eagle breaks the chariot and runs it down, so one of the wolf rider units, they both panic. One runs off the board, and the other runs right up to my my Empire Knights there. So that's great. I mean, the eagle is essentially killed 2 units with 1 charge, so MVP again. I really like what eagles do for me. And then, I'm not sure what this is a picture of. Oh yes, I killed the dogs over here and I reformed to face the Demon Prince. There was no way I could have reformed to keep the Chimera out of my flank, or then I would have had the Demon Prince and the Trolls in my flank. I really had to pick my poison here. And then in this combat phase, I mean, wow. I only got Earthblood off on these guys, so I get a 5-up regen. He goes to town and absolutely kills a ton of my guys, and I only do 5 wounds to him, which was less than I expected. I lose combat, and I'm stubborn, so yeah. The only good thing about this is his Throgg unit can't flank charge me because there's not enough guys to see. So that was something I didn't expect. Trolls are really, really just savage. So Warriors turn 3. His fat scav annoyingly rallies, so now my cannon's going to be threatened, and I'm going to have to send my Warrior Priest into the fast cab instead of the Doom Diver, because otherwise I'll lose my cannon the next turn. I could have relied maybe on charging the Doom Diver and maybe breaking them through the through a leadership test, but I figured the safest. Or sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, so I got to deal with those guys. And then his level 1 also rallies, which is unfortunate because now he's going to be casting spells on me. So his charges. He charges the Chimera in the flank of my Sea Guard and the Demon Prince in my front, so I like to hold, but we forget to take the terror test. We think about it a couple minutes after this picture is taken, and then I take my terror test, and I fail it, and I run, and it means the Chimera pretty much automatically catches me. So I lose that block in one go, so whereas I could have maybe held up a Demon Prince and a Chimera for 2 or 3 combats, I'm dead automatically. I mean, these Sea Guard have done nothing for me all tournament, except die and been a throwaway unit, but they're way too expensive to be a throwaway unit, so I'm going to have to rethink that. His other trolls just reform so they can charge me next turn. And, yep. Then in the magic phase, he gets Itchy Nuisance off on my Phoenix Guard, so it means that I have to reroll all 6s. And then, yeah, so this is a picture of him destroying the Sea Guard. And yeah, after combat, he puts one guy attacking my mage. So I kill another I kill another 1 troll. So my white lines have charged in, and between all their attacks, they've killed 2 trolls. Yeah, regen is rough. So I'm pretty much on Snake Eyes, and I break. So I flee with my Lore Master, and he is not able to catch me, which is the one good thing about this. So I do get away. Then, so High Elves turn 3. I keep moving my knights over. I charge the Warrior Priest into the Wolf Riders. So I like my odds there. I've got a charge, and I have a 4-up armor save, and I have the Charm Shield, which I burned on his stand and shoot, but he didn't take any wounds. And, I'm wounding him on 3s, or I'm hitting him on 3s, wounding him on 3s, and I've got Hatred. He's hitting me on 4s, and he's wounding me on 5s, so I like my odds there. So I move the lance close to the center. I rally my general, and my Phoenix Guard rear charge. The trolls there. So I'm hoping that combat goes favorably for me, and hoping to break that unit so I can reform and take the Throgg charge next turn. I move my Silver Elves over towards the center of the board because maybe they'll be able to do something there. And in the magic phase, I get off the miasma on the trolls, so they're going to be hitting me on 5s, which is useful. And my shooting phase does nothing. The cannon overshoots the chimera, and the bolt throwers just haven't really. After they killed the BSB, they just decided that it wasn't really time to do anything else. So in the combat phase, yeah. So my warrior priest goes in, and he fluffs his attacks. He does no wounds, which means he gets his attacks back. I take 1 wound, so I lose combat by musician. So I'm leadership 7, and I break, and his wolf riders overrun. They're maybe a couple inches away from my cannon, but it's an easy charge for them. So I really didn't expect that to go that way. I think that was a little bit unlucky, and could have saved me my cannon, and then I would have killed his doom diver. But it happens. Over here, the Phoenix Guard take 1 wound from the trolls this time, so they did what the White Lions couldn't and survived, and actually absolutely go to town and get a bunch of hits. Even with Itchy Nuisance up, I end up killing 3 more trolls. He's on Insane Courage, but he's got Throgg nearby, but it doesn't matter. He fails and runs, and I end up turning my Phoenix Guard around to face Throgg. That I'm not looking forward to. And then Warrior's turn 4. His trolls fail stupidity. So they're unable to charge, but I get the chimera in the flank, which I'm not too worried about. I've still got 3 static combat res. He starts with 1, so I'm ahead 2, maybe 3. I'm not sure how many ranks I had at this point. Yeah. He flies his Demon Prince over to look at my eagle, so he's blocking off the knights there, and he's tempting me to charge, I think, but I'm not going to charge that. I know he's unbreakable, and I'm going to be, hitting him on 6s? Yeah, I'm going to be hitting him on 6s, and static combat res does nothing, so that is not a fight I want to be part of. And then he rallies his other 2 trolls as well at the bottom of the screen. So then he moves his. There's a picture of the other side. So he moves his goblin hero to face my lore master. I'm really not worried about that. He's going to take a dangerous drain test when he charges me, and I get 3 attacks at strength 6 before he gets to attack me. Plus, he does fear me, so he might only be. Well, he'd still be hitting me on 5s irrespective. And his wolf riders charge the cannon, so it's done for the game. You cast Itchy Nuisance on these guys again. So I'm re-rolling 6s to hit my armor saves, which won't matter because the Chimera strength 6, as well as my to wound rolls. Then he does 2 wounds to the eagle via one of his direct damage spells, but the eagle's still alive. And yeah, so the cannon dies, but the crew actually do what the warrior priest didn't and actually take a wound off the dogs. Would have been useful. And then here, I actually end up winning combat. He absolutely spoons his attacks, or I make my ward saves. It was one or the other. And I'm able to reform, and I reform tighter to get more ranks. And now I've got my BSB attacking as well as another 12 or another 11 Phoenix Guard. So I've got a lot of attacks that are re-rolling to hit against a toughness 5 Chimera. So I think I'm going to actually kill that guy. And the stupid thing is his Chimera was -1 leadership, and he ended up holding. So that's unfortunate. So my turn, I charge the Silver Helms into the trolls. I feel reasonable about that. He's only got 4 wounds left, so if I kill one guy, he's only going to get to puke on me once. So I feel good about that. I move my knights around the Demon Prince so that they're flush with him, so the Demon Prince can't see me. So this is more for the later game. I'm really just planning on running these guys near the objective and trying to get points that way. I fly my eagle up to the top of the board to try to do the same thing. So he's staying out of the way for now, and I know I have last turn, so I'm just going to fly these guys in and try to contest that objective and get points that way because I'm behind on victory points by a lot, and I don't see any way that I'm going to take out any more of his points. His trolls are just rock hard. His Demon Prince is unkillable. And, I mean, the Chimera should be dead next turn. Especially now that I've got a Wissen's Wild Form up, so hitting on 3 is rerollable, and then wounding on 4s, he'll get a 4-up regen, so I expect to one-shot this guy. I mean, he's only got 4 wounds, so he's pretty vulnerable. I think I can get 8 wounds through pretty easily. That's another picture of that. So, we go to the combat phase. The Silver Helms kill a troll, and then they lose one to back to the puke. He ends up breaking, and I run him down. And then in the Phoenix Guard combat, I'm in trouble. I really expected to break that Chimera. I had so many attacks going into it, and I do 1 wound. With Wissen's Wild Form, I still only do 1 wound. I don't know what the odds are, but I think it's more than 1. I was really hoping to break him so I could reform, but that didn't happen, and now my Phoenix Guard are going to get flank charged by Throgg and his trolls. So Warriors turn 5. Picture's a little bit out of sequence. He turns his Demon Prince around, and he casts the Breath Weapon, which is take an initiative test or die with no armor saves. So I'm initiative 3, not really worried about it. He ends up hitting 5 guys, and I fail 4 of my tests. And now he's also directly in front of me, so I have no choice but to grind to take the charge here. But I take a leadership test and I fail, and actually end up running away from the Demon Prince. So these guys will probably no longer be able to contest that objective, which really screws up my plans. And then yeah, Throgg charges into the Phoenix Guard, and he issues a challenge with Throgg, and I have to accept with my BSB. I'm hoping that maybe I stay alive. Not likely. I'm relying on ward saves here. But if I didn't accept it with my BSB, he'd get run down when I lose the combat anyway. So maybe I save myself some guys there, and maybe I'm steadfast if I got lucky with the ward saves. But it's not happening, and I do another 2 wounds on the Chimera. I mean, this thing, I put so many attacks into it already, and all I've managed is 3 wounds, which is unfortunate. The Chimera chases me down and catches me, and Throgg just kind of stays where he is, and I think he may have reformed with them. Yep. So then I make a giant mistake. So in the movement phase, I move my Lore Master up, and I do this because I'm going to fireball his unit of fast cav that killed my cannon, because I don't want them getting near the center of the board because it'll give him more points. But I forget about his chariot, which is hiding behind that building. And yeah, so I don't see that, but now he's 9 inches away from me, which is his movement. So he's going to get an easy charge and probably kill me through impact hits on his next turn. And this is something that could have really been avoided if I just paid more attention to what was on the board. I could have moved them, could have still moved them into position, but either further away or right next to that building or into the building even, and I'd still be in range for that spell. In the shooting phase, my bolt throwers shoot at the two bolt throwers shoot at the Chimera and actually take the last wound off of it, which is nice, but it's too little too late. The Chimera's already eaten my Sea Guard and my Phoenix Guard. So in the magic phase, I get the fireball off on the fast cav, and I do 2 wounds to him. He fails his panic test, and he actually runs away, which means that these guys, they'll still get points from him at the end of the game, but he can't use them to contest the objective. And on top of the screen, my knights rally, but they're still facing that Demon Prince. He's got an easy charge into them next turn. So that's not good if you're a knight. So I'm just really hoping that yeah, that I can use my 1-up armor saves to survive there. So Warriors turn 6. So what I talked about happened. He gets an easy charge into my lore master, and I end up fleeing, hoping that maybe I get lucky on the dice and he gets unlucky, but it doesn't happen. And he gets my 295 point general there, which is actually now worth almost 400 points because he killed my general. So stupid mistake on my part. And his Demon Prince makes the easy charge into my knights. I'm really hoping that my armor saves let me live here. I mean, he's hitting me on 3s and he's wounding me on 2s, but I've still got a 4-up, so I only expect to lose maybe 2 knights a turn. At least that's what I'm hoping. It might even be less than that. Actually, it is less than that. He kills maybe 1.5 knights a turn, so hopefully I'll be able to outgrind and outlive there. But it's not the case. So his first set of attacks, he kills 3 guys. I fail all 3 armor saves, which sucked on my part. But my unit did hold. Then his trolls actually failed stupidity last turn, so they weren't able to charge my silver helms, which meant that on High Elf turn 6, I'm able to march my silver helms around and contest the objective. So we'll be splitting the points evenly there. And I also charge my eagle into the flank of his goblin chariot because, I think that guy's worth about 100 and something points. Yeah, he's easily 100 points. And my eagle is on 1 wound remaining, but he's only going to have 3 attacks, hitting me on 5s and wounding or killing me on 5s. So I like my odds there. I think he's got about 1/3 chance. He'll probably get 1 hit through, and then he's got a 1/3 chance of wounding me. So I think that's a fair trade, and I think I should break him on static combat res just with the charge in the flank. I think he's going to be down at leadership 3 or 4. So I like that. But in the combat, I do no wounds to him, and he gets that 1 wound through, and I lose my eagle. I think I would do this every time. I think risking 50 points to get a little bit over 100 is a fair deal, but I don't get it. So I lose 50 victory points. I don't think it would have made a difference, but I'm still able to contest the objective. And then the Demon Prince, yeah, he gets another 5 attacks in on these guys and just kills another 3. I wasn't making any armor saves, which is unfortunate. So I lose all those points in the end as well. I was really hoping to maybe just survive and retain, 300 points for that unit, but it didn't end up happening. So the after action report. So I ended up losing this game 9-16. The objectives really helped me. I think I got a little bit unlucky with some of these things, or some of the combats. But yeah, this was a really great game. My opponent was really good. His list was very hard, but he was a really nice guy, and I think we enjoyed this game. And we had a beer after and just talked about our experience in the tournament and stuff. So it was a great game, despite the loss. I think it cost me. I made a couple of key mistakes. The toughness spell was stupid. I don't think it cost me that many guys, but it's something that I should have been thinking about. The poor positioning my lord cost me 400 points right there at the end of the game. I mean, that's something that could have easily been avoided. I had another turn to fireball those whatchamacallits, the fast cav that were going to contest the objective. So stupid mistake there, and that could have maybe swung it a little bit more in my favor. I think that would have maybe meant it was a 10-15 or an 11-14, which would have been close to a draw. Another poor showing for the Sea Guard. I mean, these guys did nothing for me all tournament. They got shot the first game, but managed to keep their points because they didn't get shot enough. And then the second game, yeah, they did nothing. They held up a unit of demigriffs that was probably about, that cost maybe half as much as they did. But that's another issue. And this particular game, I didn't use my allies really particularly well. They didn't contribute. I mean, the cannon got unlucky with its positioning, being surrounded by 3 units of fast cav, or a chariot and 2 units of fast cav, so that was a bit unfortunate. My knights, yeah, they again, maybe a bit unlucky, but I could have. Well, there's really no avoiding the Demon Prince. He moves 20, so unless I hit them in the corner and just retained their points, there really wasn't anything else I could do. And then the Warrior Priest, yeah, he fluffed his attacks, which is unfortunate, but it's dice, that's going to happen. Yeah, I thought this was a great game. It was a great opponent as well. I made a few mistakes that cost me. So now for the tournament report. So I came in 8th out of 36, which I'm pretty pleased with. I don't think I played particularly well my second game or um, my last game. I made a couple of mistakes in both of those games that maybe cost me some points. But I don't think my army was super hard, and it wasn't really a tournament, or it wasn't as hard as a lot of the other tournament lists. So I'm pretty pleased with the way I did. I think I was one of the few high elves there. There were a couple of dark elves using the old book where you can still have the unkillable lord and like double hydra with regen and stuff. But yeah, so to give you some perspective, the top 6 out of the top 10 armies had demon princes in them. So they're either demon armies or warriors armies. So yeah, warriors really dominated the meta, and I think it's just demon princes are very, very hard to kill unless you have specific counters to them, either lots of cannons, but even then they can fly and really avoid and maybe hide behind terrain. So I thought it was a great tournament, just dominated by warriors. So my Sea Guard are going to be out. I'm not using these guys again. They were just a huge disappointment. For the exact same amount of points, I think for 28 Sea Guard, I can get 15, about 15 Silver Helms. So I can get a giant Night Bus, which is going to serve me a lot better. And it's actually probably better at holding things up, even if I want to use them as an anvil. Just because of the 2-up armor saves, and they can't get Thunderstormed or Stomped. So that, yeah. So in the future, you're going to be seeing me play with Silver Helms. What I'm going to do is convert them. I have a Bretonnia project that didn't go anywhere, so I'm going to be converting those knights with Elven bits into Silver Helms because I think the regular models that are available now are ugly, and they're also on back order. I've had trouble getting them. I think in the future, so there's a 2,500 point tournament coming up in March. I know that's a long ways away, and I'll probably play a lot of individual games before that. But I'm going to start playing an aggressive list. So I've had some success with this in the Escalation League that I've been playing at the Games Workshop in Montreal. But these are at 1,750 points. It will go up to 2,250 starting November. But yeah, so I'm going to be starting to play a more aggressive list, and based on some of the lists I saw at this tournament, I'm not going to feel bad about fielding a Horde of White Lions with the Banner of the World Dragon. I might try to go for a ward save combo there, but I think I'm not a real fan of the Laura High Magic. I might play Laura Life, which I despise, but it's going to keep my guys alive, and it means that I can recrow my White Lions, which are really the best unit. My Phoenix Guard performed well as well, but I think it was all about the White Lions in this tournament. So I'd like to thank the tournament organizers. I think the guys from Northern Defenders did a really great job. I thought everything about the tournament was great. I think it was really well priced. It was $35, and we got food, we got lunch and dinner. It was really well organized. Everything ran very smoothly. All the guys were very friendly as well. So I'd really like to thank them, and I'm really looking forward to going to their tournament that they're hosting in Quebec City in March. And I think if anyone lives in the Montreal or Quebec City area, I'd really recommend visiting this tournament and participating. I think it's going to be 2,500 points without the ally system. I think some people complained about the ally system. It did allow for some power builds, and it meant a lot of people had extra cannons. You saw a lot of dwarf allies. But I really didn't mind it. I thought it was cool and interesting. Yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed this tournament, and I'm pleased with the way I did. I think maybe I could have done better if I had made a couple of different, or if I hadn't made a couple of mistakes. But yeah, I'm really happy with my performance, and I hope you guys enjoyed these reports. All right. Bye.